What's good? What's good, Team Hollywood? Hey guys, real quick before we get into the video, I got some great news for you guys. Hollywood Sports, man, shout out to Game Russia, guys. They reached out to Hollywood and said, man, we want to sponsor your Madden videos. And guys, they're willing to provide you. Hollywood Sports is going to provide you with a service through Game Russia, guys, where you can go to their site and get a 6% discount on Madden coins, guys. Madden NFL 19 coins, guys. And all you have to do is click on that link down below in the description. At the top of the description, put in discount code HO. But guys, go click on that link. Go check it out, guys. If you go build your ultimate teams. Hey, Hollywood's going to the next level. I'm providing you guys with a service. Again, shout out to Game Russia, guys. Go check them out. The link's down below. If you're buying coins, go get a 6% discount. Put in the discount code HO. Enjoy the video.
Chicago. Standing by with the call. Here are Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis.
First opened way back in 1924, but renovated in 2002. There's a look inside venerable Soldier Field in Chicago. This was the scene a moment ago as the Bears emerged from their tunnel. Ready for football are they, and ready for football are we, as the Bears get set to match up.
We're bringing our broadcast team, Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis.
Coach, it's the NFL on EA Sports, and there you get a look at Paul Brown Stadium on the banks of the Ohio River in Cincinnati. This crowd loves their orange and black. The scene just a short time ago, they were in full roar as their guys burst out of the locker room. We're ready. All right, Coach, thank you. There's a look at New Era Field here in Orchard Park, New York. The folks in Buffalo love their Bills, and a moment ago they entered to the delight of this sold-out crowd. They're set for football as their Bills will do battle with the Buffalo Bills. Alongside my partner, Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin, happy to be with you. And CD, as we get this thing going, give the folks at home something to keep their eye on.
The running game for both teams, because I think this is going to be an old-fashioned, old-school type of a game. Physical. Who wins up front, who runs the ball the best and controls the clock, they will come out the victor.
Coach, we find ourselves at the foot of the Rockies, Denver, Colorado, for this edition of the NFL on EA Sports. Just a short time ago, sounds loud enough to reverberate across the Rockies. They're ready for football in Denver as the Broncos get set to do battle with the Denver Broncos. Up in the booth with Charles.
Broadcast team, Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis.
We are just a stone's throw away from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as we get set for football at First Energy Stadium in Cleveland, Ohio. The folks here in Cleveland, even though all the down years, have never stopped supporting their hometown guys, and we got evidence of that a moment ago as the Browns made their
broadcast team, Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis.
We are just a few miles from the Gulf Coast of Florida at Raymond James Stadium here in Tampa. Just a minute ago, it was Jameis Winston leading his Buccaneers out of the tunnel. They're on their feet here in Tampa as the Bucs get set to match up with Jameis Winston and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Thank you, Coach. We are about 15 miles west of downtown Phoenix at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. A moment ago, this Arizona crowd was on its feet. The defensive starters, led by perennial All-Pro Patrick Peterson, were introduced. Now they've got a tough one on their hands as they'll square off with the air.
Here are Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis.
EA Sports coverage of the NFL takes us to the StubHub Center, 20 miles south of downtown L.A. Coming up, we've got what can only be described as a mirror image matchup between the Los Angeles Chargers and themselves.
Gaudin and Charles Davis.
All right, thanks, Coach. EA Sports coverage of the National Football League is on the air. Just a short time ago, smoke from the pyrotechnics filled the dome as the Colts made their way out of the locker room. We're set for football as the Colts get set to match up with the Indians.
Charles Davis.
Thank you, Coach. From beautiful South Florida, there's a look at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. The excitement brewing here in South Florida as a moment ago the Dolphins starters were introduced to this home crowd. They're fired up as well as they get set to match up with Ryan Tannehill and the visiting Miami Dolphins. Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis with you from our broadcast perch. And Charles, as we get this thing started, what are you going to be keeping your eye on?
Special teams. Field position is always a big determiner.
Welcome in our broadcast team, Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis.
We're about 40 miles south of Candlestick Point as we welcome you inside Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara. The scene a short time ago, this crowd, they love their 49ers, and they were in full roar as their guys burst out of the locker room. And we're ready for football as the 49ers get set to do battle with the San Francisco 49ers. Alongside my partner. And thank you, Coach. We are across the Hudson from Midtown Manhattan at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. This the scene just before we came on air. This New York crowd fired up by the arrival of their G-men as they burst from the locker room. They're ready to go as the Giants get set to match up.
Team of Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis.
All right, Coach, EA Sports coverage of the NFL brings us to the Sunshine State in TIAA Bank Field here in Jacksonville. A few minutes prior to us coming on air, this crowd was jolted into action with the introduction of these.
Charles Davis.
All right, Coach, EA Sports coverage of the National Football League is on the air. A few moments ago, the crowd here was on their feet as their beloved Jets made their way out of the tunnel. They're ready to go. We're ready to go, and it should be a good one as those New York Jets get set to face off with the New York Jets. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin, and Charles kickoff.
Gaudin and Charles Davis.
First opened in 2002, there's a look inside Ford Field here in downtown Detroit, the Motor City. A few short moments ago, these two teams made their way out of the Ford Field tunnels, and the noise level in this place just about off the charts. They are set for football as the Lions get ready to do battle.
The action. We welcome in our broadcast team, Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis.
Coach, thanks. CA Sports coverage of the NFL brings us to the Inner Harbor and M&T Bank Stadium here in Baltimore, Maryland. The two teams emerging from their respective tunnels a minute ago to the approval of this Baltimore crowd. They're all set as their Ravens will match up with the Baltimore Ravens. Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis. With the beautiful Puget Sound just to our west, you get a look inside CenturyLink Field here in Seattle. This crowd, as we've come to expect in recent years, as loud as any in the NFL, and they get even louder when their Seahawks are introduced. We're ready for football as the Seahawks get set to do battle with the Seattle Seahawks.
Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis.
And we find ourselves at the stadium that played host to Super Bowl 52, the wondrous U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. The scene a short time ago, this crowd decked out in purple, and they were in full roar as their guys burst out of the locker room. We're ready for football, folks, as the Vikings get set to do battle with the Minnesota Vikings. Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis with you from our broadcast.
And Charles Davis. Gentlemen.
All right, much appreciated, Coach, as we welcome all of you to our exclusive coverage of the National Football League on EA Sports. Coming up, we've got what can only be described as a mirror image matchup between the Madden Elite
and Charles Davis.
All right. right, Coach. We are pleased, as always, to be bringing you coverage of the National Football League on EA Sports. Coming up, we've got what can only be described as a mirror image matchup between the Madden legends and themselves. Thank you, Coach. EA Sports coverage of the NFL brings us to Oakland, California. The pregame festivities here in Oakland have to be seen to be believed. This crowd in silver and black, they are fired up as their Raiders get set to face off with the Oakland Raiders. Brandon Gaudin
and Charles Davis.
We are just inside the Beltway, about 10 miles east of the Capitol Dome as we come to you from FedEx Field here in Landover. Just a few moments ago, it was the Redskin defense being introduced, and the largest cheers went for their Pro Bowl cornerback, Josh Norman, as he and his guys get set to do battle with the Washington Redskins. Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis, thrilled to be with you from the broadcast booth. And, partner, before we get this thing started, what are you going to be watching?
Who gets off to a fast start? In horse racing terms, they talk about catching a flyer out of the gate. Who sets the pace and makes the other team chase?
This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no run